Hi everyone, welcome to Dave's Bonsai. On today's episode, the road trip was awesome. I saw some great people. I saw some amazing trees. We have a lot more footage to show you. However, where else was my mind along the way east of the Mississippi? Yeah, up north at Bonsai Acres. Hey everyone, welcome to Bonsai Acres. This is going to be my official first night on the property, spending the night. So I'm setting up the tent, got a relatively flat piece over here close to where the fire pit will be and close to the car, so I can go both directions as I need to. But we have to get this set up before I can go putts with the fire pit. So back at it, I got to set the tent up for a nice cozy night's sleep here at Bonsai Acres. We are set for the night. Now, incidentally, I just met my neighbors for the first time. Sandy introduced herself. Hi to Sandy. Well, herself. And she did say there was a bear here this summer recently. So the food will stay in the car and we'll have to keep our eyes and ears open. We're ready for camping. Once the tent was set up, I put my hammock up real quick and got to work on the fire pit. So I got the first ring of the fire at a relatively level area. That's a lot of work. There's a lot of rocks in there and roots. But we are starting to get a nice shape for the first fire pit. We just got to keep going. Got to shave off some of this upper end so it all goes more casually to the fire pit again for safety. So we have to keep plugging away. I probably will putz with this for another half an hour or so, put the rocks in place, and maybe I'll start my first fire, although I don't think I brought any matches with me, so we'll have to double check with that. And might have to go into town. I'm having some serious flashbacks to digging the PSGF. Now, digging that fire pit was a challenge, and I had thin gloves, and ooh, there's the blister of the blister sweat and tears. I had more work to do. I needed those matches from town. I didn't have any packed, so I had to go to town. I got some Band-Aids, some gauze. We wrapped my hand up. We did some more work until we got that fire going, and boy, did that fire take a long time and a lot of clicks and toilet paper to get going. I wasn't even watching the one bit of paper I had. Burned so fast, I thought I had really dry wood in here. Had to dig into my toilet paper. Now we got just a little bit of a flame going as I eat some recycled pizza. A fairly productive day. I was able to get the land leveled out a little bit here for the fire pit, having the first fire. Tomorrow I have the pump folks coming out to inspect the pump, the well, see if it's in working order. If not, what it might need to be fixed. Need water to water the trees, whether I put them in this fall or in the spring. So that was one of my first things as far as getting someone out here. Just bought this from the convenience store. Barely works. Takes me about 20 clicks to get a fire. Now we can get some coals and keep the fire going. There's a lot to do up here. Just the hour or two it took me to get this together, walking back and forth to the car and the tent set up. There's places on this property where they still have stuff on the ground, so I bought garbage bags that I'll leave up here. And every trip I go back home, I'll bring some more garbage back home because there's just stuff that the last owners left behind. Now I'm gonna get too hot, because now we have our first big fire that's over 3 feet tall. Woo! Fantastic. So we're gonna sit here by the fire, relax. The sun's starting to set in the west. And we'll start again tomorrow. Okay, so today's mission is to see what's up with the pump. So the pump people are coming in a couple of hours, and I'm just going to clean up the mess that encompasses the pump house, because I will redo this completely once everything's up and running and improved and all that good stuff. So we just need to start cutting into things. Now, as much as I hated to cut into that birch tree, we just have to have access, and a couple of them are older branches. Pump house has been cleaned. We got a lot of scrappy pieces all the way around the right side. It's kind of like my lilacs grow. I don't know what kind of tree or thing that is, but got all those out. Cut a few branches off of this guy. Cleaned up that pine tree back there up about 6-7 feet. And so, yeah, there's my tent from the night. So, looking pretty good. It's all ready for the folks to come in and take a look. Now, this thing is pretty ancient. I don't know when it was run last. There's cables in there. There's power from the shed. I'm assuming this is a bunch of trash, and they're going to kind of have to start over from the beginning. But if the pump down below has electricity and works, it might just be a new tank. We're going to let them figure all that out because they're the professionals and I'm just this bonsai dude. So they're here in the next hour or so. I'm looking forward to it. A little nervous, a little anxious, but looking forward to it. So while I wait for the pump people to get here, this is kind of my envision of some early trees. Oh, a hawk. A big one too. Where's he going? Right up on top of that tree. Oh, I wish I had my telephoto lens on right now. But by the time I put it on, he's going to fly away. I might scare him away with this too. So I have the weed whacker. And I'm just going to see if this will whip any of these weeds and just kind of get a trail around here, because it's kind of wet from the morning dew. And I just want to see if I can get a kind of a 20 by 50 plot where I might put my first set of trees. So I'm going to kind of see if this is going to do anything or not. Let's see. First trail has been set. So the weed whip did a pretty good job. A little narrow here, gets wider down there. I'm really trying to lay the groundwork of where the trees might go. And I don't even know if they'll start right here. There's a nice plot back there that flattens out. But part two, now that I can see a path and I saw if there's any rocks in the way and big branches, cranking up the lawnmower and getting that thing down this path. So that's next, to see how much I can get through these weeds and start the assemblance of kind of some clear land. So let's keep doing that. So weed whipping in 3 passes with the lawnmower, and we have a path that kind of leads to the part where I thought we'd have trees. This is where we have the view of the dilapidated larch forest. All the poplars still on the property here, which is nice. Poplar forest back there. But we're kind of going downhill and slant a little bit, but then we turn right up here for a couple of steps up, and then we have this. So see with my shadow here, all this area right in here is relatively flat, and I think a good place to start the planting. It's tucked away from the road, it's far away, no one will even see what's going on in the beginning. Not that there's very many people up here, and we can put some trees right in here with all these weeds. So we have got some clearing out to do. Got a couple of poplars right there, and a small one right there, and over there, and a whole bunch over here. So we'll clear out the weeds around the poplars, and those poplars will kind of border, and that'll provide a little bit of shade in the future. Those will be more shade in the wintertime, but no real shade because the sun will be right over us for most of the time. But yeah, a little more cutting. Let's see how far we can get. So first things first, what we really had to find out, and it was the most important thing today, is would the pump work? Would the well produce water? Good news is the well is a 5-inch in diameter well, so we can get a lot of stuff down there and adjust and adapt, and that's awesome. And the test came, electricity, we had to hook up brand new wiring cabling. Paul did that from Essential Pump and Well. So Paul's been a great help. I couldn't do any of this by myself. Thank God I'm paying someone to do it. And so he's over there working right now, and look, we got water, y'all. We turn on the power. And it's not great. We think the well is on its, the pump is on its tail end. The bladder inside the tank is probably shot, but we've got water. I can water the trees. We can hook up a hose. I can water the trees this fall if we put a couple of dozen trees in the ground, and we're all set up. And then next spring, yeah, we're gonna have to put a few dollars into a new pump and get it all situated. But it'll be code, it'll be working, we'll have more pressure, and then Bonsai Acres will be on its way. So the first relief is, well, a relief. Water came out, but now I'm kind of curious how the water is in this area. So if y'all remember, Ryan Neal out in Portland, he bought his property based on the water. I mean, he didn't even put a bid in until he knew the water was good. I'm kind of doing this backwards. I already bought the land, and we're hoping the water's good. We can always filter it. We can do lots of stuff with the water, but I'm very curious to see what's going to happen. So I've got my little gadget here. I never remember what they're called, but it's going to measure the hardness of the water, right? How many things are in there, and it's based on parts per million. And so all we're going to do is need some water and the tool, and it's going to get a number for us. So we're looking for as close to 0 as possible. Anything over 200, our trees typically don't like. But remember, that's also trees in the pots, in bonsai pots. In the ground here, there's going to be a lot more stuff filtering it out. It's in the earth, a lot more nutrients in there to maybe combat some of that stuff, and so it won't be as crucial out here. But I'm still curious what I'm going to be watering my trees with. So I was going to stick it right in here, and I think there's just enough water. If not, we'll have to get a wider opening to see if this is going to work. Okay, I haven't used this for a while. Do I have it in the right direction? I'm not getting a reading so far. Let's flip it around. There we go. And if that's not far enough, we're going to have to get a wider container, because my drinking bottle water is not big enough. It would help if you took the cover off. See, I don't use these tools enough. Uh-oh, we're creeping up. So the parts per million, according to this sample, has been anywhere between 160 and 180. 159, 153. So the water is relatively hard.
We often talk about below 200. So it's below 200. That's fantastic. 142 was the lowest I saw there. Hovering in the 160s the most. So at first glance, 124. That was probably an outlier. 112. So somewhere between 112 and 180. Not horrible, could be better. And keep in mind this pump hasn't probably been used for a couple of years, and who knows what kind of gunk and stuff is just all in there. When I get this thing flushed out in the spring and put a brand new system in, we'll talk about that later, it'll probably change that a little bit, I would imagine. If not, this is a doable amount of hardness, and we'll just keep monitoring from here. I just saw 100 on there, but again, we've been as high as 180. So we'll go between 100 and 180. Not too bad. We can live with that for now. Top about 180 parts per million hardness was the top reading. So
Pretty hard.
it's pretty hard. I mean, it's, you know, we've had worse. We have some people, bonsai practitioners, who've got 200 to 300, really? And that's awful. Yeah. They like under 200. We prefer under 100.
So Paul just left from Essential Pump and Well, or Essential Well and Pump. See, I already forgot. And there you go. He's got me set up. So we lost the tank. We don't need the pressure tank. We just have a well that's going to be on or off until I winterize it this winter. So we've got a hose attachment right there. And so we'll be able to attach a hose there and then bring it out to the trees that are going to be through there. I have to get a couple hundred feet of really good quality hose. We'll close the door, protect it, and in the winter we'll winterize it. And all I have to do is turn on and off the power right now, and we'll take care of business. So this is exciting. Now, just because it's working doesn't mean it's the solution. This pump, he said, is on its last leg. So if we get through this fall, now I won't even have trees out here until September or October, probably September. And so I will need to water in September, October, and November, maybe if the rains aren't here. So I just need that to last till this winter. And then next spring, I'll be putting out some money, a chunk of change, and then some, to get a new well system. Now, I knew that was going to be the case eventually, and I didn't expect this pump to even work. So I'm just super excited, as I often say, that I actually have water, that I can water trees if I have to. So I have that ability. A great day. Thanks to Paul. I'll be calling him later, and I just gave him my card. He's going to be watching this episode on YouTube. So another fan. He says he's dabbled in bonsai, but he said he didn't even know if he could use the word dabbled because it was so long ago and not to much success. Fun nonetheless. We got a new bonsai guy on the horizon. Does this to their own property? I mean, who just throws it out in the property? Yeah, we'll never be back in that section over there. Let's just throw it over there. Crazy. I think each time I leave Bonsai Acres from here on out, I'm gonna do the once around. See what I've accomplished, see how things are looking, and kind of sum it up. Had the lawnmower out here today, cut a big chunk of grass up here by the structure, up to the sign there. So, easier to get around, less ticks perhaps. I did mow a trailer on the outside over there too, just for a closer trail to the woods. The very first Shinrin-yoku possibly. So Paul was here. Helped me with the beast. So we cleared all the way around that thing, made it easy to access, and now we have water with the flip of a switch for now. I better grab my sweatshirt here so I don't forget that. Which again is why we do a walkthrough, just like leaving a hotel. Do you have any computer stuff left over, some Donagles or something? Did I leave my camera here? That'd be the worst. So we got that old dead tree downed, cut up 5 or 6 chunks. I'll axe that up next time. Left some chunks. I was getting tired. Cleaned up a lot of branches on a lot of trees this trip. So a lot of stuff on the ground, ready for firewood. I can lopper most of this up. And then we come up with the hammock is in the trees and the new fire pit. So cleared out some land, shoveled this to make it a little more flat there. We got a little bit of a sinking part down there, so we'll add more dirt there and get all this stuff all cleaned up. And then we'll have a trail that goes back into the backwoods at some point. And then when you come over here, there is the old larch forest. So I cut a path up to the fire pit from this side. So this is where trees might be planted in the near future. September of this year, for sure next spring. So we have more to cut away. I just was running low on gas, and it was tough on the mower. I'll have to get a new blade for at home, I think. But I see this as some potential trees right in here for the first planting. I'm going to kind of scope it out based on this land and what I'll grow where, how big the plots will be for maybe some red pines, white pines, jack pines. We'll get some larch in the ground at some point. And so we cut this trail to back there. And of course it's easy access to walk back up towards the shed. And where I had the tent this last time, pretty flat ground, couple of rocks in there, but I had 3 pads I was sleeping on. And we come full circle. Bonsai Acres. Made a lot of progress.
A lot of progress indeed. Oh my gosh, that was an absolute blast. And that was all in about 24 hours. I got there about 2 or 3 o'clock on a Monday, and I left at 2 or 3 o'clock on a Tuesday. So minus the sleep, well, you do the math. Did all that in under 20 hours for sure. What a great time. Can't wait to go back. More stuff to edit. I got more road trip stuff. I got more backyard stuff I have to do. And I'm going to hopefully head to Bonsai Acres. And school starts... Oh, sorry. I said the S word way too soon. Take care of you. Take care of your bonsai. And we'll catch you on the next one.